Hi everybody! You know, it's starting to get really warm, and pretty soon it's going to be summer. But not yet, next month. Right now it's May and it's spring, but in June, next month, then it'll be summer. And one of my favorite things to do when it's summer is to go to the beach. I love going to the beach. The sand is so warm. It's so much fun to make sand castles. I also really love watching the waves in the ocean. I think the ocean is super cool. And there's so many cool animals that live deep inside the ocean. You know, people don't live inside the ocean. We need to breathe the air. Our lungs breathe the air. But a lot of fish don't have lungs. They have gills, which are perfect for breathing in the water. Have you ever seen gills before? A lot of the times you can find them on a little fishy's neck. It looks like lines or little slits in the side of their body, and it allows the water to go in, but not all the way. It lets it filter all the air out of the water because there's air inside of water, and the gills take the air out so that the fishy can breathe. Have you ever seen your mommies or daddies make coffee with a coffee filter? If you've ever watched them use a coffee filter, you'll see how all the coffee grinds, the coffee beans, stay in the filter and the water comes through. The water moves through, but the coffee stays. The filter catches it. Gills work that way too. Gills let all the air through, but catch all the water because the fishy doesn't want water inside his body. So I wanted to show you different kinds of things that live in the ocean. Some with lungs. There are a couple with lungs, like dolphins, but then there's a lot of them that have gills. So we're going to start with that. We're going to start with gills. This says gills. And I drew a picture of a circle, and inside I put little slits. I put what looks a little bit like gills that you would see on the side of a fish. Now, most fish have gills, right? I'm going to draw a fishy. Here's his tail, his fin, maybe he's got another fin up here, mouth, eyes, and right around here, you'll see some gills for the fishy to be able to breathe under the water, right? Fish have gills. You want to know what else has gills? I wonder if you can tell what I'm drawing. Sharks have gills. Fish have gills. Sharks have gills. They breathe with their gills. It filters all the air out so that they can keep breathing. Lots of things in the ocean have gills. Now I'm going to put my gill friends right here. And of course, there's lots of types of fish, right? There's clownfish that are orange and white and black. There's fish that look like Dory from Finding Nemo that are blue, right? They have gills. You know what else has a gill? Let's see. A manta ray. Manta rays also have gills. I think they're pretty neat. There's lots of things that live in the ocean with gills. But, like I said, there's actually some animals that live in the ocean that have lungs like us. But they can't stay underwater the whole time because they need to come up to breathe air into their lungs. Now, sometimes when we're at the beach, we might notice a special fishy jumping up out of the water, right? We might notice a dolphin. Dolphins have lungs. They don't have gills. And you know what else has lungs? They're super big. Whales. Whales don't have gills. Whales have lungs. They have to go up, up, up to be able to breathe, but they can hold their breath for a super long time. That's why it's okay that they live in the ocean. They can, and so can dolphins. They can hold their breath for so long that they come up, breathe some air with their lungs, and then they can go swimming for a very long time before they need to breathe again. So there are some things that live in the ocean that have gills, like manta rays and most fish and sharks. And then there's some things that live in the ocean, like dolphins and whales, that have lungs. How cool is that? But there's something even cooler. There are some things that live in the ocean that have no lungs and no gills. Do you want to know how they breathe? They breathe by absorbing it through their skin. They don't have gills. They don't have lungs. It just goes in through their skin because their skin is so super thin. Now, I'm going to show you 3 animals that live in the ocean that do not have gills. See? No gills and no lungs. Ready? Let's see if you know what this is. Any idea? It's a jellyfish. Jellyfish don't have lungs, no lungs, and they don't have gills, no gills. They breathe through their skin. You know what else breathes through their skin? Starfish. Starfish have no lungs and no gills. They just absorb the water through their skin. And I'm going to draw one more thing that has no lungs and no gills. This one's super tricky because we don't see it a lot. It's super spiky. You don't want to touch one of these. It's called a sea urchin. Sea urchins also have no lungs and no gills. Isn't that so cool? There's a lot of really cool, really fascinating things about all the creatures that live in the ocean. Maybe the next time you watch a video of something swimming, or the next time you go to an aquarium, you can try to spot an animal or creature that has gills. You might be able to see the little slits on the side, or on a manta ray, it's on their belly. So let's pretend it's his belly, and you might see some slits there. So see if you can find gills, or you might see a whale with the blowhole at the top, or a dolphin, and you'll know they don't have lungs. There's no slits because they don't have gills. There's no slits. They have lungs instead. And then of course, how cool is it that jellyfish, starfish, and sea urchins just absorb air? They just absorb it through their skin. How cool is that? I really like learning about everything in the ocean, and I hope that you're also interested in seeing more about what lives inside the ocean. Bye, friends.